Um, Coming to specific scenes in the film, the last two scenes, one where Shah Rukh comes and submits to you and says that, yes, I have lost. And then turns around and says, but actually, from where I see it, you're the loser. And then in the last scene where you break down and say that, I'm the loser, I've lost, and and now it's time for the old to make way for the new. They were two really long scenes. In fact, probably the two longest scenes in Indian cinema for a very long time. Did you at any point in time feel that, God, these scenes are too long? They need just Shah Rukh and me to pull the scenes through. I mean, how did you prepare for those two scenes specifically?
Well, in situations like this, initially, I think actors are very selfish. They want to see how many lines and as many lines as possible they can get to speak in a film.
So then they must have
at
been
least
dream
that's
scenes.
something that I would quite honestly confess that I would look for. So for me as an actor, and I'll take this up first, I think it was exciting to feel that I'm going to have this great moment and I'm going to be saying lines, irrespective of what the context is. So it was very exciting. As a film, or as a portion of a film, or as a part of a film that's being enacted in front of an audience and how it's going to affect, that really is the director's problem. Yes, actors do have a say in it sometimes. We give our suggestions. But I think if you have a director like Adi who's very confident and sure of exactly what he wants, there's very little that you can even get in edgeways. So when I look at it as a film, I feel yes, they were long, but I think, as I said, the culmination needed for both parties to express why they took 3 hours to come to this point. And they are reaching the climax of the film. And for 3 hours, people are waiting to see when is this whole thing going to fructify, when is this whole thing going to crystallize. And you need a lot of space and time to express yourself. Raj Aryan needed that time. Narayan Shankar needed that time. And I think if you look at it in that respect, then it's okay for the cinema. The other aspect, of course, which is purely personal, and I don't know whether my observation is of any value, is that for a very long time in Hindi cinema, the spoken word has been few and far. There's been a great paucity in the kind of stuff that's been coming out. And for a very long time, I think what we have observed is that it really is not important to have actors speaking lots of lines. Maybe in the producer's penchant for wanting to do things glamorous and technically very brilliant, maybe this aspect has been lost. But as I said, I can merely talk from my own point of view, and I remember the works of Salim Javed, for example, or some of the written works of Prakash Mehra, for example, or some of the works of Hrishikesh Mukherjee, who worked along with some greats like Gulzar and wrote some wonderful stuff.
I agree with you, because I've grown up saying your dialogues all the time, whether it's Anthony saying ek mara lekin solid mara. I mean, even humorous dialogues like this become landmarks. But in the last at least 8 to 10 years, there haven't been dialogues which we remember from Hindi films. There are no memorable dialogues of Hindi films, but Mohabbatein has some great lines.
Yes, so that is the aspect that I feel has perhaps become attractive all of a sudden, where people are suddenly being put in a situation where they're quite happy with the film, they're happy with the characters, they're happy with the way it's been portrayed, and also feeling happy about the fact that whatever they're saying is either making sense or is being performed to some level of sensibility.
Which specific scenes do you really, really cherish in Mohabbatein? Like, there must be so many landmark scenes of yours which we all cherish. Like, I love the Shakti confrontation scenes. I thought they were remarkable. I love the last scene of Trishul where you come and throw the hundis, or the auction scenes in Trishul. There's so many scenes which are like landmark scenes of Indian cinema. In Mohabbatein, which are the scenes you feel will become landmark scenes, or which are your personal favorites?
Oh, this is, it's very difficult choosing a particular scene. There are some of the obvious ones, of course, the two sequences in the climax, for example. But I felt that there were some other rather poignant moments in the film which also were quite moving for me. I felt the whole story about one of the lady loves in the film, that is opposite Jimmy Shergill's character, Preeti Jaggiani. I felt that her story was very well crafted. I empathized with that. I felt very strongly with Amrish Puri's character, who still believes that his son is alive. I loved the character of Shefali, the Bahu of the house, one of the Bahus of the house, where she asks and implores upon the father that you must face the facts because this is not the truth. Your son is not there. And why would you want to ruin the life of this girl who is now actually in love and wants to get along with life? I thought those moments were very, very sensitively handled. Raj Aryan's entire attitude towards the love of his life, I thought that was very beautifully written and indeed beautifully enacted in the final sequence of the film, where he says that I'm not here to take revenge on you. I'm not here to, get things even. But the fact that the girl always told me that my father was externally very harsh, but internally a soft person. And maybe I thought that if I could provide in your being some kind of softness, perhaps the daughter would someday benefit from this, that yes, my father actually did in fact give in. And I thought that the culmination of this emotion was very beautifully portrayed in the writing work, because the last lines of the film, in fact the last line of the film, is indeed just this emotion, where he says, "Aur tab shayad meri beti mujhe maaf kar de." I thought that was just an unbelievable culmination of the entire ethos of the film, really, because that is what Raj Aryan had come for.
Just while going, isn't it strange that in the second innings of your career, you've got success from not the cliched or not the typical things like from a KBC or from a Mohabbatein, which is one of your most loved roles of the second innings of your career. It's been rather unusual, so to speak, because a TV show and a negative character, so to speak, have brought back the whole wave of Amitabh Bachchan once again.
Actually, it's in some ways quite disturbing and in some ways quite exciting as well, because I was very keen to see how television and film would relate simultaneously. How Mohabbatein would reflect with KBC on, and whether KBC would get affected were the film to come on, and whether Mohabbatein would get affected if KBC were to come on. But I think that really all the credit should go to the people of this country and our viewers and our masses, because they're always so correct and always so right, and we must respect them.
On that happy note, thank you very much, Mr. Bachchan.
Thank you, Kunal. Lovely talking to you.
लेकिन एक बात जान लीजिए मिस्टर आर्यन कि मोहब्बत और डर की जंग में जीत हमेशा डर की होगी।
नो मिस्टर शंकर, आपने अभी तक सिर्फ डर की ताकत देखी, मोहब्बत की ताकत तो आपने अभी देखी ही नहीं।